Hey girls, it's Jenny with Planner Perfect, and in today's video, I'm gonna be sharing with you my new AM and PM routine. Stay tuned. Hey, welcome back. You know what? AM and PM routines, I'm already switching it up from what I was doing in the fall, switching it up now for the new year, and I'm getting a head start. One of the things I'm going to flip you around, I'm going to show you, but one of the things I really started to feel is old kind of things that were creeping up on me that were developing into a habit, and not just with me but my whole family. And so I remember I woke up middle of the night like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, you know what, I don't like this. There were many different things that I was not appreciating about what was going on with my routines and things that were kind of going on. So like, for instance, before I flip you around, I'm going to share with you like some examples of what I mean. So in the morning, I noticed for me, I was just lounging a little too long with my coffee and Jesus. And that's never a bad thing, but it was like I got the word in and I was really just having such a wonderful time. But then I would just start to go and glide into about a billion other things. And I would really go and coast as long as I could. And then then I'm taking a shower, and then kids, worst thing I ever did is I bought my kids like a mega horn, a blowhorn. Found it at Target. They begged me. I was like, fine. Girls, I was taking a shower. I got out and they were using the megaphone to say that they were hungry. Okay? From down the main level. And I was like, oh my God. So normally I like to be on top of these kind of things. I like to have breakfast ready. And this is how I kind of could see what I was doing, what I developed into a habit on the days I don't have my grandbabies. Because when I have my grandbabies, I have to be up and at 'em and structured so that my day can run smooth before I get them. Whereas on the days I don't have them, I was noticing a real big decline on that, and I would just take too long to get started in the morning. So I needed to change that. So I'm going to show you how I made a lot of these different changes. It's like, that's what I love. When you're a visionary, you are able to really be good at introspection and seeing what's working, what's not working. And when problems start to develop like this and it becomes a habit, rather than just feeling like you're good at gotta stay stuck, or I could simply be like, wow, my kids are just a pain, and just gripe, and never think about how maybe, just maybe, if I altered what I did, it would then set myself up to have a different experience. So that's always where I go to. I don't gripe and whine. Of course, when it's happening, I'm like, I'm going to start ducking money off of your guys' allowance if you keep it up, okay, with the mega horn, okay? You can only do it outside. I'm not saying that I'm like Miss Perfect that never complains. When it was happening for the past couple days when I bought it, and that's when it really brought to my attention. I think it was the mega horn. It was loud and clear. But instead of just like, wow, you guys, just leave me alone, or I'm going to do this, and just kind of griping my way through things, I just looked at it like, okay, I'm not liking that I'm not ready for them when they're hungry. I want to be in control a bit more than being reactive mode or being stuck in the shower when they're hungry. I mean, I needed to start on my days when I don't have the babies, which is all the other 4 days that I don't have them, then I need to make sure that I'm ready for my kids. So I need to make sure that I got up and I was time stamped. And I hate to be time stamped, but if you really want to move the needle and get things done in an orderly fashion and make things happen, sometimes for portions of your day, you've got to be time stamped. So I've been time stamping like 6, and then 6:30 I'm doing this, and 6:30 to 7 I'm doing this, and 7:38 I'm doing this. And it's been nothing but amazing, which I knew it would be. But it's just, you've got to kind of reassess your life and say, this isn't working. This is what I got to do. And so it's what I did. And so I've got my routine, and I'm already going for it. I'm not going to wait till the new year. I'm not going to wait and say, well, I'm just going to wing it this December. No way. In December, I'm starting. It's a new routine. And I think you guys are going to really find some great inspo from it, just because I did from my own plan. I'm just like, let's go. and so I want to share it with you on what I'm doing with my new AM and PM routine. I'm going to spin you around and give you a look. Okay, welcome back. We're going to go over my AM and PM routines, and I'm totally stoked about it. Now, I have shown you my book, my notebook that's coming out. Super excited. And this has kind of been, right now, actually my commonplace book. I really thought something else was going to be, but this has kind of been what it's been rallied to. And I've been using it for everything. And this is when I just I was like, okay. I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, okay, I don't like certain things, and I'm changing it. So my new life plan. Yeah, this is part of it. I woke up at 3 a.m. I even did a custom diet plan for myself. We can talk about that later. But here it is. No, that's not it. Okay, so this is where I first wrote down all my ideas. And so it had to go somewhere. I said, some of the things I was sick and tired of was not a place to be able to put all of my, where do I put all my devotional stuff? I had so much, and I just had gathered so much that it was everywhere. It was on the couch, it was on the floor, it was on my desk. And then I would kind of stack it all on my desk, and it was just looked very cluttered, and I just didn't know how to do it. So I really wrote down first all of the things that were not working. And so I really kind of recommend that because it's been really insightful for me. So I wrote all of the things that really weren't working. And one of the things was I'm rushing. That was one of the things that I had written down, rushing. And I was like not having... I was too relaxed in the morning, and I wasn't able to be as organized as I wanted to be. And so instead of just griping about that, I said, I don't like it. What do I got to do? And I fixed it. So also I want to make sure I had breakfast ready. Not eating well enough, not having a strategic plan for myself. And then the feeling of some overwhelm. So here is where I've been feeling that lately, and these things can really slip up on you and become habitual. My evening routine wasn't being very cool anymore because my sons are kind of bored, and so they're kind of making messes and loud, and so I wanted to structure that more. And so what I did was I did things according to what certain days represent. And so Mondays and Fridays, those are days I don't have grandbabies. And so I put down, it's really those are business days for me, like full throttle. They're also business as in, I've got emails, Zoom calls, and design work I got to do. And then there's, that's also a grocery day, and Fridays and things like that. That's stuff that I like to do and kind of coordinate with my sons and stuff like that. It's also, I wonder if I redid it. I did. I wanted to go over it on this one. This also is when I'm doing YouTube videos. So I do them on Mondays. And so I kind of I do them all in one day. And so I schedule them throughout the whole week. And it's also when I can do that's also my Bible study day. So Mondays and Fridays are when I kind of bang out some major things. Groceries, Panera, YouTube videos, things like that. It's also when I got to do work with design work for stickers and tip-ins. I design them. And so it's kind of like that. I have to do all of that and the washi. And then Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, those are days and they're kid focused. So those are days that it's kids play, puzzles, bake, learning activities, museums, zoos, structured time, things like that with my sons and my grandbabies. And it's stuff that, that this is where, I don't really want, I'm not painting here. Okay. This isn't a day when I'm going to go, do a Zoom call if I can freaking help it. I've done many a call because I've had no other choice, and it's not been very pretty. But these are days that I've really have mapped for really kid focus, and I like it. Saturdays and Sundays, I've really decided that I needed to make sure that it was more of a replenish day. These are really good homey meals, that I'm cleaning the fridge, washing bedding that day. It's also when I paint and draw, plan and prep, play games with kids, and things like that. So that is what this is for. These are what these days are usually for, and these are really my hammer, make it happen days in a way, plus integrating boys. So my boys love to go grocery shopping with me, and I take them out to Panera, keeping that tradition alive. I've been doing that for like 20 freaking years. If it wasn't Panera, it was Runza, but Monday was always our grocery shopping day, and all my kids have always loved going, and I've always taken them. You know, I'd nurse on the floor. I'd have one of those huge Target carts and I'd nurse like on the, I was just nuts. I had so much going on, but you know what? Those were good times and I loved it. So, that was important for me to do. So then if I knew the structures of certain days and when I was doing what, then I could go into routine. So then that's when I really wrote out my ideas of what I wanted to do for my morning routine. And because one of the things that wasn't working was that it was kind of a slow start for me on days that these days and these days were really slow start days for me. So what I would do is, you know, I would just start off with coffee and Jesus, and then it would lead into just staying in my jammies for as long as possible. And then I would, you know, like 10:30 jump in the shower, and then that's when my kids yell from the basement, you know, I'm hungry. And that is then I'm reacting and reactive, and I didn't like that. So now since I don't like it, then I'm going to change it. So it's one of those things that I wake up early and I do 30 minutes of my confessional scriptures. Instead of like trying to do a marathon of Bible work in the morning, I'm splitting it up. So in the morning, I do 30 minutes of my confessional scriptures, and then in the evening, I will share with you in a minute how I do the rest. And then after that, I will do a little bit of gratitude journaling and some reading. And so that's a full hour. And then I will do my chores, and that is dishes out and then in, and then I get my laundry started. Then I take my shower. So this all ought to be, because if I'm up at 6 a.m., then I should be well in about no later than, because if this is an hour here, I'm at 7:30, I should be getting in, well, it would be 8 a.m. would be my shower. And that these are days that I'm not, this is a basic scan of what I want to do all the time. But on these days, it's probably even earlier. So, anyway, or if it's not, I'm getting more accomplished by the time I get into the shower. So here, just all depends. But mainly for the days that I don't have babies, this is kind of what I'm doing. Shower at 8, and then I'm getting my breakfast ready for the boys, and I call them down that it's time to eat. So it's 9 o'clock, time to eat breakfast, and I'm ready for them, and I'm being proactive. I know what I'm feeding them, and then we clean up together. And this is not true. I changed that. And so that is my morning. And then what I have for my evening routine is having dinner around 5 or 6, and then kids help and we clean up. And then this is when I do my laundry. And so mainly productivity in the evening is what I really want, and kind of slipped into another habitual way of just kind of just doing a bunch of nothing. And I wanted to be more intentional about how I was using my time. And so this has been really great for me. So laundry, fold and put away. I always get all of my laundry done before I go to bed, and I put it away. That's not the problem. I've kind of always done this part. But here then now is where I'm going to incorporate some of the boys, because my boys get bored because the sun is, you know, gone by 5. But this is where I've already made changes and it's not reflecting it on this piece of paper. And that's fine. But what I do then is, because I wrote it over in here, but this is where I brain dropped it first. So then basically at night is where I'm good. That's when I do the laundry, and I'm already up here with the laundry on my top floor by my bedroom. And so then I sit down at my desk in my nook area in my bedroom, and that's when I do another 30 minutes of reading through some scriptures and do some Bible study time. And then I will go down and I will play with the boys and play a game. So I decided that I will play a game with them for a good half hour to an hour every night, or puzzles or whatever. And so that will be really fun. And then we can kind of plunk on the couch and kind of watch any kind of like educational show or movie, and then hit to bed. And my husband is always involved in all of this. I know sometimes someone asks me, you know, when did your husband fit into all this? And it's like, he's here all of the time with doing all of it. You know, and you know, maybe there's one time when I want to just sit on the couch and just read, and my husband will just play the game. But for the most part, that's kind of what my plan is. And then midday, noon, I like to also get God's word in my heart. And so I'm going to be getting that in at noon, to be looking over all those scriptures that I have, eating well, and feeding kids at a structured time and cleaning up. And then afternoon time, I also just kind of wrote different things that when the boys are over, the babies, that I have a structured time when they don't have my phone, gaming and all of that, that we're doing more puzzles and educational books and games and having that, and also planning that as each day in my planner. So this is where I put and drop down all this head knowledge, okay? And then in here is where I really made it intentional and legit. Okay, so this is like, it's game on when it goes into here. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, this is it. So how I did it is this was the 2-page spread in my goals is how I want to do it, because I'm starting now. This is almost like it's new year plans, because this is my new way of wanting to do things and creating new habits, and I'm starting now. So what I did was I kind of took information from what I did on my notebook, and I did Mondays and Fridays. These are Panera, grocery day, bowling days, fun days, but they're also business days and YouTube days. So I've got to split that up somehow, and also they're all the sub-box projects. So if I've got to do washing, if I've got to do, you know, if there's deadlines, then I've got, those are the days that I've got to do. So when those days come up, I know that those are my 2 days. It's also, it could be a day that I have Bible study once a month, and it's there. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, these are days that are kid focused, like I said. So I kind of wrote that all down. Field trips, structured, learning, babies, all of this is kid focus. I don't want to really be bothered with and try to put anything else on those days. Saturdays and Sundays are replenish days, and it's also homemaking days. They're also errands and planning, cleaning fridge, washing, bedding, and painting and drawing. So those are kind of how I want to structure my days and create habits. Like I know that that's what I'm doing, and I just flow with it and go with it. And so here this is where I started to really narrow down what I was doing for my AM routine, and it was 6 a.m. coffee and Jesus. On days with the babies, it'll be 5 a.m. But it's confession and then reading the word, and then reading also one of the newest books I'm reading. So I keep up on all my other reading that I do. And then I have my chores here that I do, dishes in and then laundry started. And then I look over my planner, and then I shower, and then breakfast, and I feed the kids, and I'm ready, and I clean up. Midday is confessions again, getting my eyes on God's word, meditating on it day and night. And then my PM routine is dinner around 5 or 6, clean up, laundry, fold, put away all the clothes. And then this is when I am doing my Bible study and reading the word, reading the Bible, and then I do my craft, which right now, and journal. And so I'll spend about a half hour doing that, which is like I'm crocheting and I'm journaling. I'll journal in my journal, and then a movie with the boys. And there's also games. So I have that down. I also did more of a weight loss kind of plan, and I wanted to do my own. So I wanted to write down the things that I'm not liking and things I wanted to change, because no use trying to lose weight if you're just still doing the same habits. And so some of the things that I wanted to change was not have reduce my wine. So I was kind of having it, you know, up to 4 times a week, and I'm changing it to maybe when I celebrate with friends. Right now, I just don't feel like that's what I want to do. So I did some changing in that regard. I wrote that down of things I wanted to change, to make sure that I'm not nibbling in between meals, kind of have my own rules. So what I would do is, it's easy to do as a mom, is that you're nibbling on other kids' plates. And so just little things that I wanted to change and do. And I already really eat really well, I'd have to say. But I just wanted some things that I was just wanting to tweak. And then this was kind of my meal plan type of a thing. And what my plan is, because I know my body, I know what I do, and I always usually get 10K steps a day, if not more, but sometimes, and so I wanted to make sure that I do keep that up, listening to my body. Big salads every day for lunch. That was one of the biggest changes I wanted to have, because I wanted to make sure that I got more greens in to my diet on a daily basis. Only 1 treat per day, and I got to pick what it was and when I wanted to do it, and I wanted it to be portion controlled and not this, you know, huge mammoth piece of something or other. So it's just something where, you know, instead of thinking, oh, a nibble here, nibble there, make it intentional with everything that I'm doing. And so keeping to not any white flour or white sugar, and keeping to more like Ezekiel toast or bread, you know, not doing any processed foods at all, just eating real whole foods. That's all. And so
that is basically my new AM routine, and it has been nothing but amazing. And I'm telling you, what the biggest thing and change I did implement was when I started to timestamp my morning. That was when it was game on. And so when I started to say, okay, I'm up at 6, my eyes just pop open at that time. And nowadays, because I always am up early. And then I literally am like, okay, my confession time and praising God is done, where I've got to move into my next time. And so then I go into what's next. And I'm literally on a timestamp until I get that shower in and breakfast. Then I can ease up on that. And I know the flow of the rest of my day. But for the morning to succeed and achieve the most possible and to set myself up for success, I need to go by timestamps. And it's been awesome. And also biggest changes I've made for my PM activity is being more intentional about how I use my time in the evening. And it's still a restful, replenishing state, but it's also productive and nourishing my mind. It's not that I'm wasting my time on endless shows, cartoons with kids. I just want to structure that time so that, that evening is super long now. And it's not like it's the summer where we're just coming back in from boating at 9 p.m. And you only got an hour before bed. I mean, so now is when it's just started to get dark and I'm already feeling it. I'm already feeling it with these kids. And it's like, I want to be really intentional because I'm already getting on my jammies at 5. I'm like, you know what? The sun's down. I'm getting on my jammies. So you're already like, okay, you sit on the couch and the night is so long. And so it's funny, you think you'd be used to this by now and you're like, okay, got to be productive and do some things. But I started to slip into plunking on the couch, excited, and getting out just, a good book or whatever. And it just was lasting too long while the kids were creating absolute mayhem. So I was like, okay, I need to structure this. And actually it's good for me too, and good for them. And it's been really, really amazing. Girls, that's my AM and PM routine starting before the new year. I look forward to going over really crushing New Year's goals for the new year. We're going to really have a great New Year series going on in January, Planner Perfect, and I'm really, really excited. I'm going to really share some great tips on how you can be all you were created to be and how to set goals and to achieve greatness. Until next time.